You had a couple of drinks with dinner, watched something on your phone until you felt tired, went to bed. By the time you fell asleep, you had already sabotaged your testosterone window, suppressed your melatonin, elevated your core body temperature, and triggered an immune response that will fragment your sleep in the second half of the night. And you thought you were winding down. Here's what makes this conversation difficult. The habits that are most damaging to your sleep don't feel dangerous. They feel like normal parts of a normal evening. A glass of wine to relax, checking your phone before bed, a late workout because that was the only time you had, a big dinner with the family, the thermostat set to a comfortable temperature. These aren't reckless choices, they're Tuesday night. But every single one of them triggers a specific biological mechanism with a measurable, documented effect on your sleep architecture. Not a vague, it might affect you, a precise, reproducible disruption to the hormonal and neurological processes we covered in the last two videos. And the frustrating part is that most people who can't sleep well are doing everything they've been told is fine, while doing at least 3 or 4 things the research identifies as significant disruptors. My name is Dr. Nathan Cole. This is Hidden Health Protocol. Let's go through each one. Habit 1. The glass of wine to wind down. This is the most common sleep misconception I encounter and the one with the most consistent scientific refutation. Alcohol is a sedative. It reduces the time you take to fall asleep. That part is real. But alcohol and sleep are not the same thing. And what alcohol does to your sleep architecture after you fall asleep is the opposite of what most people believe. A 2026 narrative review published in Nutrients, analyzing a decade of research on alcohol and sleep, confirmed what the evidence has been showing for years. Alcohol suppresses REM sleep, increases sleep fragmentation, and impairs breathing during sleep, specifically in the second half of the night. The first few hours may feel uninterrupted. Then the alcohol metabolizes. Adenosine, the sleep pressure molecule that builds up during waking hours and drives your need for sleep, is released all at once as the alcohol clears your system. You wake up, lighter sleep, more fragmentation, less REM. Remember what REM sleep does? Memory consolidation, brain waste clearance, the neurological repair work that requires the second half of the night to complete. 1 to 2 drinks, that's all it takes to suppress the sleep architecture that repairs your brain. And here's what the research found specifically for men over 40. Your liver processes alcohol slowly as you age. The window of disruption extends. The metabolic clearance that might have taken 3 hours at 30 takes 4 to 5 hours at 45. The disruption lands deeper into your sleep cycle, into the hours that were already your most vulnerable. This is not about alcohol being dangerous. It's about alcohol and sleep being biologically incompatible on the same night. Habit 2. The phone before bed. You already know screens are bad for sleep. Everyone knows, and almost no one stops. But I want to tell you what's actually happening at the biological level, because understanding the mechanism changes how seriously you take it. Your brain's master clock, the suprachiasmatic nucleus, is calibrated primarily by light, specifically by melanopsin-containing cells in your retina that are exquisitely sensitive to short-wavelength blue light. These cells send direct signals to your pineal gland, which is responsible for producing melatonin, the hormone that signals to your body that darkness has arrived and sleep should begin. When you expose those cells to blue light from a screen in the hour before bed, the pineal gland receives a clear signal. It's still daytime. Melatonin suppression occurs within minutes of exposure. And the suppression isn't subtle. A study published in PMC found that screen exposure before bed delays melatonin onset by up to 90 minutes in adults. 90 minutes? That means if your body was supposed to begin its sleep hormone cascade at 10:30 p.m., the cascade that initiates the testosterone window, the growth hormone pulse, the glymphatic activation, it now begins at midnight.
You may fall asleep at the same time, but the biological schedule has shifted, and the operations that were supposed to run in the first 2 hours are now starting late and getting cut off by your alarm clock in the morning before they complete. The phone isn't just keeping you awake, it's shifting your entire biological sleep program by up to 90 minutes every night you use it before bed.
Habit 3. The late workout. And this one requires nuance because the research is not uniform here, and I want to be precise. Moderate exercise in the evening, a walk, light weights, a casual bike ride, does not significantly disrupt sleep for most people. The PMC Systematic Review on Exercise Timing confirms this. Moderate intensity evening exercise may actually reduce sleep latency, the time it takes to fall asleep. But high-intensity exercise, above 85% of maximum heart rate within 2 to 3 hours of bedtime, is a different story. High-intensity exercise elevates core body temperature significantly. It triggers a cortisol response. It stimulates the sympathetic nervous system, the system responsible for your fight-or-flight state, and it blunts the nocturnal melatonin peak, confirmed in studies measuring salivary melatonin in men who performed high-intensity training within 30 minutes of bedtime. Your body needs its core temperature to drop by 1 to 2 degrees Fahrenheit to initiate and sustain deep sleep. High-intensity exercise makes that temperature drop harder and slower to achieve. The cortisol response competes with the testosterone production that should be starting in the first sleep cycle, and the sympathetic nervous system activation is the precise opposite of the parasympathetic state that deep restorative sleep requires. The rule from the research: if you must train in the evening, keep it moderate. Keep it at least 90 minutes before bed, and prioritize a cool shower afterward to accelerate the core temperature drop. Habit 4. The late, heavy dinner. This one is about timing more than content, and the mechanism is more interesting than most people expect. When you eat a large meal close to bedtime, 2 things happen that directly disrupt sleep architecture. First, your core body temperature rises. Digestion is a metabolically active process. It generates heat. And since your body needs to be cooling down in the hours before sleep to create the thermal environment that enables deep sleep, a late meal is working directly against that process. Studies consistently show that eating within 2 to 3 hours of bedtime is associated with longer sleep latency and more fragmented early sleep. Second, your insulin levels spike. A large late meal, particularly one high in refined carbohydrates, drives a significant insulin response at precisely the time your body's trying to initiate its sleep hormone cascade. Elevated insulin at night has been shown to interfere with growth hormone release during slow-wave sleep. The same growth hormone pulse we covered in the last video, the one that drives cellular repair, muscle recovery, and fat metabolism, is blunted by the hormonal environment created by a late, high-carbohydrate meal. A clinical trial currently underway, the ChronoMed study, registered on clinicaltrials.gov, is examining exactly this mechanism, measuring how last meal timing and composition affect circadian gene expression and sleep quality. The preliminary framework suggests that eating your largest meal at least 3 to 4 hours before bedtime creates the most favorable metabolic environment for restorative sleep. The timing isn't arbitrary. It maps directly to the biological operations your body needs to run after you fall asleep. Habit 5. The warm bedroom. This is the simplest of the 6 habits and one of the most consistent findings in sleep research. Your core body temperature follows a circadian rhythm. It peaks in the late afternoon and must drop by approximately 1 to 2 degrees Fahrenheit to initiate and sustain deep sleep. The room you sleep in is the primary external driver of that drop. Most people sleep in rooms between 70 and 75 degrees Fahrenheit. The research, including a comprehensive review from the Sleep Foundation, consistently identifies the optimal sleep temperature range as 65 to 68 degrees Fahrenheit. At 72 degrees, your body has to work to drop its core temperature against the ambient warmth. Deep sleep is lighter, less consolidated, and more frequently interrupted.
At 65 to 67 degrees, the thermal gradient does the work for you. Your body cools faster. Deep sleep initiates earlier. The testosterone and growth hormone windows run longer. 2 degrees of room temperature is the difference between a sleep cycle that completes and one that doesn't. This is not a comfort preference, it's a biological requirement, and most people are sleeping 5 to 7 degrees too warm. Habit 6. Sleeping in on weekends. This is the most underestimated sleep disruptor on this list, and the one most people are absolutely certain isn't a problem. Here's the research. Your circadian rhythm, the biological clock that governs every hormonal, immune, and neurological process we've covered in this series, is set by 2 primary inputs: light exposure and sleep timing consistency. When you stay up 2 hours later on Friday and Saturday and sleep in 2 hours later on Sunday morning, you shift your circadian phase by approximately 2 hours. The technical term for this is social jet lag, and the physiological consequences are measurable and significant. A 2020 review of 41 studies confirmed that irregular sleep-wake patterns, specifically the weekend delay, are independently associated with reduced sleep quality, impaired immune function, elevated inflammatory markers, and worse metabolic outcomes. The reason is precise. Your gut bacteria, your cortisol rhythm, your melatonin cascade, and your testosterone production all depend on circadian consistency. When you shift that clock on weekends, Monday and Tuesday become recovery days, not for the weekend's activity, but for the 2-hour circadian disruption you voluntarily imposed. It's the equivalent of flying to a different time zone every Friday night and flying back every Sunday. Your body doesn't distinguish between jet lag from travel and jet lag from your own choices. The disruption to the biological schedule is identical.
Let me bring this together. 6 habits, 6 specific biological disruptions, all of them common, all of them considered normal, none of them without consequence. Alcohol suppresses REM sleep and fragments the second half of the night through adenosine rebound. Screens delays melatonin onset by up to 90 minutes, shifting your entire biological sleep program. Late high-intensity training elevates core temperature, triggers cortisol, and blunts the nocturnal melatonin peak. Late heavy dinner raises core temperature and spikes insulin at the precise moment your growth hormone window should be opening. Warm bedroom prevents the thermal drop that initiates and sustains deep sleep. Weekend sleep shifting imposes 2 hours of social jet lag, disrupting the circadian consistency every system in your body depends on. You don't need all 6 to have a sleep problem. You need 2 or 3, and most people are running 4 or 5 without realizing any of them are the issue. The good news is that every single one of these is reversible, not through medication, not through supplements, through changing the inputs that are disrupting the biology. Start with the one that applies most directly to your Tuesday night. I've left a link in the description.